G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an OMEN Watchman manufactured by Nemo Arms, which is funny because Nemo doesn't have any arms at all. He's a clownfish, and one of his arms, his fins, is messed up, so perhaps that's the reason. Maybe he had some troubles growing up and turned to the arms manufacturing market for humans instead of doing normal fish things in the Great Barrier Reef, so there you go. He's produced the OMEN Watchman, which is an interesting rifle. The most interesting thing about the OMEN Watchman is that it fires the big 300 Winchester Magnum round, which is a lot bigger than your standard 308 round. Although this thing does fire the 308s just so you can use this thing with a readily available ammo source that you'll find in the game. So more of a pick up and play feature there. But if you're a stickler for detail, there's bound to be some sort of munitions patch getting around so you can get this thing chambered in its correct round. But yes, it's got a big long cartridge, lots of powder, throws the bullet further, allows for lots of range and accuracy and such, so that's pretty good. So there you go. It's also in semi-automatic form, so none of this bolt action hog hunting stuff. We're doing semi-auto, so isn't that nice? So on the Nemo website, they talk about some sort of recoil control system that you won't find anywhere else, which, you know, might be cap, so take that one with a grain of salt. They're trying to sell you the rifle after all, and it's also got a very ergonomic design. It's very closely resembling the AR-15 design, which has definitely stood the test of time, so yes, isn't that nice? Very good. Okay, attachment time. First one is legendary effect provided by legendary modification. We'll skip over that one. We'll go over to the barrels. We've got 359 range in this thing already, which is massive, but with a 22-inch barrel, you can get that to 600. Great. That's going to be basically rendered distance, so this thing's going to hold all of that damage over a very long range, which is good. And we've gone to the magazine. You can get a 14-round magazine or a version with the quick reload, so yes, throw that on please, and we'll move over to the next one, which is the buffer tube. Now the buffer tube is hidden underneath this stock, but for some reason there's stock options in here, but this is not the main stock changing thing. So if you want this thing to be these stocks, well, you'll find them in buffer tubes, but these ones, I don't know what the difference is. This one apparently gives me slightly better accuracy and better value, so sure, we'll throw that one on. We'll take almost any AR stock, so perhaps utilizing some of these will either allow or disallow you to use AR stocks as they are. Anyway, so next one is the left rail. You can put on some flashlights, laser sights if you feel like it, and there's also options for, oh, no textures on that one. Hang on, I'm gonna have to download something to fix that. There we go, fix it now. It's kind of odd how there's optional attachment texture files. Why wouldn't it just be packaged with the rest of it? Yes, it saves space, but you're delivering an incomplete mod when there's options of showing up that aren't properly textured. But yes, rant over. Let's go for a laser sight on this side, and we'll move on to the foregrip. This goes under your barrel, and there's options for longer grips, angled grips, stubby ones, more ergonomic looking ones. We'll go for an angled grip because Battlefield 4 said that reduces first shot recoil multiplier by 33%, and this is always first shot because it's semi-auto, and you can put a left rail cover on. We'll put that one in black so it'll match the rest of the attachments thus far, but yeah, you just put different textures of rail covers on. It's nice flavor, but functionally not much going on there. Next, we've got the bipod. This is more cosmetics. We're gonna put the bipod on because it looks cool. It goes sniper status with this thing. Put it inactive, so we're pointing at our enemies with our bipods and our barrel and our laser sight in combat. And next up, we've got the stocks, which, here's the buffer tube. That's what that looks like. We couldn't see that one before, but it's all orange under there. It looks like one of those old school Recon CS6 plungers coming out the back to ready to fire the dart across the room. But yes, these are all AR-15 stocks because it's all compatible with this buffer tube we put on it, which is great. Look, I'm aware that the buffer tube helps with recoil control, but it's kind of funny how you've got an option for a buffer tube and not much else with it. It seems it's weird that it comes before the stocks, but you can only see it when you remove the stocks, which is funny. But yeah, interesting attachment point. I feel like it's just there for the sake of being there, which, you know, it's fine. If you love your customization options, that's great. But yeah, it's just a little bit of bloat in there for me. But I will stop complaining about it. We'll throw on this B5 System Precision stock by Magpul. And you can have the stock position collapse or extended. So if you want to see that little bit of orange that you've got on the on the buffer tube, then great, that's fine. We'll throw that one on. And next, this slot allows you to customize how you'll be perceiving your laser sight. You can have a no beam, but a dot, only a beam, only a dot, and a combination of both. Let's go for just the beam on this thing. Next up, we've got ourselves the muzzle attachment, and some of these muzzles you'll be able to throw a suppressor on the top. This one is the one that'll allow you to do that, which presumably adds another attachment point, which allows you to put a suppressor on. And with Ace Operator boosting this weapon slightly, we're going to get ourselves some better DPS slightly. 845 is not too much, but we haven't even touched attachments yet. So we'll attach a black one on that, and we'll move over to the next thing, which is the right rail cover, which is the same, but on this side. We'll keep the dragon scales thing going on because it's cool. Sue me. And you can change the material of this. We're going to make this thing black because it's got a suppressor. This is full stealth mode, except for that. We're not super stealthy all the way back there, but don't worry, that's obscured by the rest of the rifle, so we'll be fine. And on the right where you can do the exact same thing, so I suppose we'll throw a flashlight there just in case we need it. Probably won't, but yep, that's an option that's there. That's cool. You can change this thing's pistol grip, which, well, some of them require gun nut rank 2, which would imply that they're superior because they're gated behind a perk. So sure, let's find something that's black and also requires gun nut rank 2. That should be better, right? There's also this one. That's kind of cool. We've seen a lot of these attachments before on other weapon mods. And on the top rail, you can attach laser sights and flashlights. So if you really wanted to, you can have a triple laser sight matrix for that ultimate hipfire accuracy. But yeah, there's also options for green beams on this one as well if you feel like it. And the rifle's got 3D glasses, old school blue and red tint 3D glasses, although it's probably purple, but don't worry about it, I'm colorblind. And we've also got options for sights, including scopes. If you want to scroll all the way down here, you've got options for reflex sight, holographic, lesser scopes, but when you scroll down the bottom here, you get into the real good scopes, the big ones. So let's throw that one on because it looks cool. Big scope on a big rifle. Thank you very much. This thing apparently can go from 5 times to 12 times, which is probably overkill for 12 times, but if we can attach that function, sure, who am I to disagree? Anyway, so now we get to the receivers. We're getting ourselves 2200 DPS with 369 damage per bullet with the advanced receiver, which is very, very nice indeed. And I'm going to quickly go over to see if we can adjust the thinger here, the magnification. You can put another Picatinny rail on a diving board mount above your scope there. Probably there's no function to attach a reflex sight and to switch dynamically between that and the scoper, but that's kind of cool to see. And on the mount itself, you can throw on some sights, which I believe are just mounts for them and they haven't been attached yet, so maybe there's even more attachments to utilize. Oh, check this out. On your top rail, you can even have a night vision attachment, so you can put a scope on your scope. Oh, that's cool. Okay, we've found the mounted sight finally, and here it is, the Trigicon RMR. We'll throw that one on. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't know if we can actually use that, but sure, it looks like we're ready for anything with this thing. It's almost as tall as it is long. Okay, so it looks like if we mount this little reflex sight on the top, we'll actually use it. So if we want to actually use the scope, we have to go back to the weapons workbench, find our mounted sight, remove that, and then after that, do I get to use the scope? Yes, but this scope is, I think the lenses are closed. It's not working very well. I can't see what I'm shooting at. Removing the mount seems to do away with that, but unfortunately, for some reason, that's purple. Oh, okay, it looks like I'm downloading more. Okay, I've switched over to this scope because it actually works and I get a decent amount of zoom in out of it. Also worth mentioning, if you've got a scope mount for the little top sight, it will interfere with your see-through scope things. Like, yeah, that lens will go away, but you'll still see the frame of the that little top mount in there, and that'll get in your scope's way. So make sure to remove that if you're going to actually use this thing as a see-through scope. So, yeah, now that we've got out of the way. let's try to get this thing, and then we'll start shooting. The OMEN Watchman is injected onto the level list at level 35. You'll find it on Gunners and here in Clears. She's got one, so yeah, we'll pick that up. And it's a fairly expensive purchase, almost 3,300 with maximum charisma perks and all of the buying and selling perks as well. So yeah, it's quite the investment. Still with me? Good. Okay, here's Nemo's gun. It's in my hands. The OMEN Watchman in first person. We've already seen it like this, so let's go over to the second one that I made. This one has an EOTech with a magnifier. The magnifier doesn't do much, but this is my close range variant of it, and it's got three, count them, three laser sights on the front there, so yes, our hipfire accuracy should be pretty good. That's what it sounds like. Unsuppressed, suppressed, more like that. And in third person, the scoped one looks like this. I actually really love the look of that red buffer tube on the rest of this thing, which is completely black. I think that looks really cool. This one, I tried to get it to match. You can't get the magazine to change the colors to match the rest of the bronze thing, and there's a lot of flat dark earth on this thing, which doesn't quite match the bronze, but I think you get the idea. So anyway, so there's a gunner patrol over there. Let's try to take him out. You'll notice that it's a one-shot headshot kill, which means, well, if I can chain a bunch of sniper shots in, I've sprung up far too high here. I'm going to take some fall damage on the way down. Ouch, that's a lot. But yeah, if we can get a big gun foo streak happening, we're going to absolutely crush everything. We're hoping for a Grim Reaper sprint proc here, just to keep our AP rolling. That last miss definitely didn't do me very good, but take out these turrets. They're an easy target. They don't move. But even if we aren't critting these guys with every single shot, well, we're still hitting them hard enough to kill them with headshots, which is great. Semi-automatic rifle supremacy here. Let's just slow down again, take a breath, focus. Not sure if that was just a missed headshot there, or I'm not getting sneak criticals. We seem to be fairly consistently getting one-shot headshots, which is great news, even from up there. And obviously the reason for that is this thing's got a huge range stat. It's massive, way more than what you get out of any vanilla thing. So basically, if you can see them within render distance, you're pretty much going to get the full measure of damage out of that thing. And for some reason, they really love that position up there, which is good for me, not so much for them. We'll put a fresh magazine in that one, and we'll switch over to our close range variant. Because since this is semi-auto, you can fire it nice and fast, which means it doubles as both a close quarters spam cannon, as they used to call it in Battlefield, battle rifle, or a sniper. Good versatility. Obviously, the expenditure of ammunition is going to be a little bit higher when we don't have a suppressor boosting our damage and we aren't making use of glorious sneak critical multipliers. But this thing does sound quite awesome when used unsuppressed. And with this thing's great rate of fire, with something like VAPS, you can hammer on the trigger in slow motion, like you would, say, on Jet. And your DPS could be way higher than what it could possibly be in real time.
Put your hands up.
I think I've actually hit Nerd Rage there. One of those guys, I shot in the head. I think there's an Invisible Man I shot and killed them in a single shot, which is highly convenient. Another bonus of its close quarters ability, having the ability to hit fire as accurately as that. Oh, looks like we've got some support in the form of that caravan guard over there. Get out of here. And the quick level up there resets our health. Perhaps I can find some mercy for that there person who's ruining my sneak criticals. It would be so easy. Nope. You got saved by the laser RCW wielding gunner. That sort of took my attention. You're being set on fire. Doesn't feel good, as it turns out. So we have to address that as soon as that happens. And we'll do a little bit of a door breach maneuver here. Hammer on the trigger a little bit. Add a critical. The reload on this thing is so fast that you can just step around the corner for like 1 second, and by the time you've re-peaked it, this thing is loaded and ready to go as well. So yeah, we did pretty well there. The OMEN Watchman cleaned up house. So whatever Nemo is doing with these rifle manufacturing companies, doing some good things with it. So there we go. I think most of the damage was caused by some chicanery with fall damage, but that's fine. We survived, and this thing works with classic holster weapons, of course, very nicely. A good apparel piece as well as weapon. You can always count on that bonus. I think someone's still out there. I swear I just heard one of the gunners scream lock and load. And the combat music is still going, but there's definitely no gunners putting me in caution. And yep, there it goes. And of course, since we've got a super tactical weapon, we're throwing a vest on. It's got some magazines in it. We can all pretend that's like magazines full of the... Okay, they're a little bit off, but we can pretend, right? Like TARDIS technology from Doctor Who. Oh, I found out what the gunner was screaming about. He's being mauled by 3 bighorners, as it turns out. So, yeah, good luck, buddy. He's just gonna die. I don't even think the bighorners are carnivorous, so he's just gonna die for nothing. Oh, so you can get ragdolled if you get punted by one of those dudes, and oh my god. They did 319 damage from that. Okay, let's carry a little bit of gun through to sneak crit the Swan and see how we go. The best part about this is that I can be all the way back here and still get the full measure of damage on him. I suppose what we'll do instead is just hammer on the trigger. Don't worry about criticals. I think we can do this quite fine without them. And that's it. And just a comparison, so this is 1 laser sight right now, and 3 laser sights doing that. So not exactly supremely good hipfire accuracy, but it's good enough that you can tell the difference and probably feel the difference if you were to fire these things long enough. Also, the dot on the laser sight seems to be fairly visible anywhere I point it, which gives me a really nice and practical dot that I can use for a crosshair instead of these wide crosshairs as they are. So there's a little bit of utility value in that thing, but yeah, I don't think I've ever noticed that about any of these weapons with the laser sights before, but that dot is super useful. Time to take a little bit more of an aggressive stance using this rifle. So as the ghoul over there is looking to kill some of those little insects, we'll just take those kills, and hopefully we'll get lucky enough to get a Grim Reaper sprint proc here. Maybe not. Not quite gun-fu critting everything now, unfortunately. I don't know why, but we can just use our VAPS criticals to do the work for us. Plenty of AP to utilize, so we'll just try to get headshots as fast as we can. We might not be spamming on the trigger in slow-mo, but in real time that was very, very fast shooting, so that's fine. Now we can viciously hipfire this until he drops, which is going to take a while, so we'll make sure to get some of these hits that are crits in the head just to really push the insult home. But now is a challenge of just avoiding his pathing, or just subverting his pathing, I suppose. Make sure he doesn't get too close or do any lunge attacks or anything. Mysterious Stranger again, and that was a little bit too close. Cover me, please. I could do this all day. Hey, he even had a grazing hit against the Mysterious Stranger there. Okay, so I've got 4 crits in the bag, so as soon as I get enough AP to shoot them all consecutively, you are dead. Alright. It did the job. Not as well as it would have if I were to use it for a more stealthy approach, but it's fine. Hey, we've even got some Rust Devils down there. Throwing a whole lot of numbers on the screen for no well-explained reason. Right, is that all of them, or did they actually infiltrate the compound? It looks like they did. All you had to do was defend the choke point in the door, but unfortunately, you've let the gigantic sentry bot in, and I've killed him. It has exploded on all of your crops, so you're gonna be eating sentry bots for dinner, unfortunately.
Move.
That's what you get. Okay, let's move on. Let's do a little bit more stealth sniping. So there's a target over there, a big bear, all of his mates, they need to go down. So we'll start off by generating some criticals. That first one was a warning shot. Obviously didn't heed that warning, did he? And I think there is... Nope, I don't get Grim Reaper's sprint from killing the crows, unfortunately. There's probably going to be one more over there, but it's fine. Hoping for a Grim Reaper sprint proc here. Can't exactly one-shot the bears. Okay, the gun food was all for nothing. So we'll just kill the charging bears as they get close, and looks like we can deal with the little ones just fine. And it's pretty good that the dead bodies don't have collision, because the gigantic wall of dead bears would create an unimpenetrable fortress for him. As morbid as that might be for a bear. I certainly wouldn't want to pile my friends and allies in sandbags for the case of being covered from bullets. Are you going to attack me, or are you just going to bum around? There he goes. No thank you, I don't want a high five. Then there's some raider down there chirping me for not being able to shoot straight. Oh, yep, let's see how this turns out. Here comes Raider with some sort of cleaver. I'm sure this won't go south. Honestly, why would you? You see, like, Raiders charging up to Liberty Prime with a pool cue in hand. Like, Raiders in this game, they're something else. And no, I don't need to level up. Just wanted to turn on the light, which is like that. Is that... I don't know. Is that normal? That's better. This one's got the actual flashlight on it, so we can actually examine what that's like, and it's a pretty cool spotlight on the front, so there you go. I think you get the idea. So that there was the OMEN Watchman by Nemo, and, you know, despite being brought up by an abusive blue fish and a father that is always mourning his wife, who was called Coral, I think. She got eaten by a barracuda or something at the start of Finding Nemo. Yeah, despite all of his difficulties in growing up, having that fucked up fin and everything, he seems to be quite competent in designing and building rifles to tackle the task of sniping and do pretty well in close range too. So props to him, he's done pretty well there. Also, fun fact about utilizing weapons or rifles with flashlights is that the flashlights go all weird if you use them in third person after you've put them away, especially if you've got classic holstered weapons. Although, when you're standing still, it seems to be shining in the right spot, but it just seems to go literally everywhere once you're on the move. But yeah, I think you get the idea. So if you want to see this weapon in your game, check out the link in the description below. It is worth having a look if you're so inclined on using this rifle. Pretty much anything from the Escape from Boston series is been high quality, and this is no exception. So if you are interested in seeing this weapon in your game, there's plenty of others with the Escape from Boston badge about it that are equally of high quality. So check them out, link will be in the description. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.